If you don't know Jose Shorty Torres, you're missing the story of a fighter who's reshaped what it means to succeed inside and outside of the cage. From being a two-division world champion to mentoring youth worldwide and preparing for a massive showdown in Japan this New Year's Eve at RIZIN, Shorty's story is nothing short of legendary, and I'm excited to have him joining me again on the Fight Capital podcast. And I have a favor to ask. If you enjoy this content, please subscribe, like, give me a follow. Everyone's support and kind words means a lot, but always looking for people's feedback. And now, Jose Shorty Torres, let's get it. Welcome back to Fight Capital, where we enter the ring of combat sports business. I'm your host, Ryan Rapaport. Today, I'm excited to welcome back Jose Shorty Torres, a trailblazer at MMA and the first-time two-ever world champion in Brave. Beyond his success in the cage, Shorty's a dedicated mentor and the founder of Team Shorty Foundation, empowering youth and athletes worldwide. And as he prepares to compete at RIZIN Decade this New Year's Eve at the Saitama Super Arena in Tokyo, Japan, his journey from Chicago to the global stage continues to inspire resilience, leadership, and a deep commitment to giving back to the world. Thanks for being back here, Shorty. How you doing, brother, and where are you joining from?
What an intro. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. It's always a pleasure and an honor. I'm actually in Mexico City. Mexico. I've been training here for about two and a half months and leaving December 27th over to Japan. And such a random fight, such a random opportunity, but dude, I'll take it.
Yeah, man. Well, I know you'd been asking for a fight. I mean, after the fight in Brave, I know you wanted to get back out there as soon as you were healthy, and you were asking for it, and someone gave it to you, so I was so excited to see that. But as someone who's been following your career, I just first wanted to start, and I saw this great piece that was done back in September in Chicago where they talked about you mentoring that Chicago area youth through the Team Shorty Foundation, just how transformation that's been for the community. Just to talk about the mentorship side things first, can you talk about how that mentorship that you provide, not just to Chicago, but to athletes worldwide, is contributing to the growth of the sport and I guess as a business, especially in underserved communities?
You know, for me, I technically lose money out of my foundation, so it's definitely not a business. I'm just trying to, help where I can. I want to eventually one day grow it like the Manny Pacquiao Foundation or The Good Fight by Dustin Poirier. Like, I want to do stuff like that. But I want to help athletes in general because I look at it, I'm from the south side of Chicago. My dad was a gang leader, also a goon. My brother kind of slowly followed suit. And I really do believe both my father and my brother, and given my brother's kind of handicapped because of injuries in his life, where I think they both were extremely more naturally talented than I was. And I still say that now. Like, my brother is technically handicapped, but I think he can still beat me in a race. Like, he's just one of those guys that, like, some do a backflip, he'll do it. Somehow he'll figure out a way. And I look at it as like, man, I don't believe I'm nearly as talented as them, but I made it this far in my life because they gave me the opportunity to not just be the proper role model, or if not worse is the worst, I can't show you this stuff because I never went through it. So here, you need to enter the gym. And that's where I met really, really positive male role models, or at least people that wanted to be in that same pack and do the same things that I wanted to achieve. And it led me where I'm at today. Like, I wasn't going to graduate high school. I wasn't going to go to college. I wasn't going to do all these things. I was going to stay in my neighborhood and do the same thing everyone else does. But my family inspired me to do more, put me in front of great people, and I'm at where I'm at today because of it. Now, with that being said, I don't sponsor good athletes. I sponsor good people. I see people in the gym where they're cleaning the mats, they're helping other kids, they're helping people around them, they're going out of their way to do stuff, not for anything in return. It's just who they are, genuine people, or who I believe are genuine people. I'm like, you know what, man? Let me pay your gym monthly fee. Here, you need new gear? Here, let me pay for that. I remember I started my career and I had the same gear for like 5 years. I was punching people with just knuckle, just with some little design over it, So for me, later on, as I got to get more and more money out of my foundation from, t-shirt sales and stuff like that, I've been able to sponsor kids, not just in Chicago, but around the country, a kid in Peru, some kids in, the Middle East and different countries. So it's like, I want to put you in front of good people. So where maybe even if you don't want to do this sport as a profession, just to go cool. Again, it motivated me to finish high school. It motivated me to go to college. It motivated me to get a degree when I was in college. maybe if the career ends tomorrow or never picked up, I could have been doing something else with a degree and have a high paying job because of that. Martial arts gave me that opportunity. And again, I got to meet great people, it taught me, a lot of different responsibilities, moral stuff like that. So that's all I want to try to do is help people who don't have the opportunity. Because I'm pretty sure you remember some people in high school that it's like, man, wasted talent just because they didn't have the chance to go to certain areas or whatever to learn. So I want to be able to do that and help. And it's been a really cool thing. And with that being said, man, when I do it and I give it to them, hopefully one day they do the same thing. As Manny Pacquiao was my inspiration. Same thing with Dustin Poirier. Now I have my own foundation. Maybe one day people do the same.
And on top of that too, it's just cool seeing you giving back to the younger athletes and the competitors as well. It was awesome. I was at UFC 306. It was so cool seeing you out there in the cage with Ronaldo, Lazy Boy Rodriguez. Talk to me a little bit about that relationship and being at UFC 306 and what that was like.
Dude, you know what's funny? The initial relationship with him is when I walked into Extreme Couture where him and I met, I speak Spanish and there's different, accents of Spanish. And I've heard some people say certain things. I'm like, oh, you're probably from the Caribbean. I don't know if you're Puerto Rican, Cuban. And then you hear the Mexican Spanish and it's very distinct. And I'm like, oh, that's my crowd. It's a Mexican. I'm half Mexican, Puerto Rican. So I was like, oh, it's my Mexicans. Let me talk to them. And Lazy Boy was one of the guys I hit it off with real fast. And remember, he actually almost got kicked out of Extreme Couture the very first day we sparred because for people who know, like I'm pretty stereotypical. Like Mexicans, dude, when we spar, you hit us good, we're gonna fight. There's just some people that's like, all right, I guess we're not sparring, we're fighting. It is what it is. And Lazy Boy's one of those guys. You hit him clean, he's trying to knock your head off. But I'm more experienced than he is. At the time he's still a kid that's growing and blossoming in his career, and no one knew who he was. And Eric Nixick is like, dude, do you want me to kick this guy out? Because he's swinging at me. Given I'm blocking majority of it, but I'm just like, being pushed. And I'm like, no, you're fine. I'm cool with it. Don't worry. He's going to die out in the second round. I'm going to beat him up. And that's what I did. And he's like, damn, I like this guy. My name's Lazy. Yeah, my name's Shorty. And then we became good friends. And the funny thing was, I knew where he was from. He had nothing. So I was like, yeah, man, he doesn't know who I am. So I'm like, let me help him. Let me introduce him to some people, stuff like that. But he also thought I was struggling too because I was riding a bicycle that I bought for like $100 every single day to the gym. So he's like, dude, I got this truck. Put your bike in my trunk. I'll drive you home. So we're like, so constantly helping each other. And I was like, man, this guy's a good dude. And I told him, man, if I don't, after my fight, I'll go watch your fight for Lux in Guadalajara. And my fight ended up getting canceled. Like, dude, I'll go support you. And ever since then, I was the only person that said they were going to go that actually went. And I supported him. And he's like, dude, you're legit. Like, you're an actual guy, man of your word. And ever since then, he signed with the UFC. He goes, hey, you've been helping me a lot. We've been working together a lot. Can you be my coach? Like, I really respect you. You tell me the truth. Like, you're the devil's advocate that I need. And I can tell you're not in it for money or this and that. I'm just like, yeah, man, I got you. And plus, I had my UFC career. I had my fair share of mistakes that I don't want you to make. So let me be that big brother as my big brother was to me. So, man, look at the two fights he's had. Now he had 500,000 followers after his first fight, then 1 million followers after this last fight. Right now, he's at 1.8 million followers, dude.
Whoa,
With
okay.
today, even just going to the local gym, we can't walk out in Mexico or even in Vegas without like a mask or a hat or something because people are like,
Crazy.
"Oh, Lazy Boy, dude, can we take a photo?" And he's like, yeah. It's just like that's how recognized he is, So it's phenomenal to be part of his team, to be in his next camp. Literally right after my next fight, December 31st, we're coming all the way back. And I'm coming back and gonna stay down here for 2 more months to help him for UFC Mexico March 29th. So it's a cool thing, man, and I'm happy for him because he deserves a lot, and it's an honor to be a part of someone that's so genuine in his camp. Like, again, I have my foundation. He doesn't have it, but he's trying to do stuff like that where he's helping his own people. And he's a very, very genuine guy, and I appreciate that.
It was really beautiful to see how happy you were for him after the performance too, man. It was so close. It was so close when he battled back like that, and
Mm-hmm.
just seeing you guys standing in the cage here at 306 and with that atmosphere and like that whole event just being like really targeted towards the Mexican people, man. It was beautiful. And, I think you also have this kind of like special gift that you can give back to other athletes too, having competed internationally, everything you've done in Bahrain, globally with them, now in Japan, and how really just curious, like, how do you approach branding yourself as an athlete who resonates with global audiences while staying true to who you are and your Chicago roots?
Well, the bad thing is it's almost, and it sounds sad, but it's almost like my UFC career. I worked my whole life to get to the UFC, and then it's gone in like 2 months. I have two fights in 2 months, go 1-1, and after the last fight, given it lasted a couple more months of the layoff, and then they let me go. And it's like, oh man, the things can take a turn real quick. I had all this hype, at least in my neighborhood growing up in Chicago, becoming the celebrity, and then it just falls like that. And it's kind of that true statement. It's like when you win, everyone wants to be around you. When you lose, everyone's gone. Maybe and hopefully your mother is still there. So for me, I just want help, and I never thought I'd end up in Bahrain. I never thought, for example, Bahrain, dude, I ended up meeting the royalty. I'm good friends with the Prince of Bahrain. Like, if I wanted to text him right now, I can text him a meme. Like, who says that? Like it's a really, really cool thing. And for me, it's a blessing in disguise. Whether it's good or bad things in my life, somehow I've worked my way up to here. Same thing with Lazy Boy. Somehow he's worked his way up here, and now he has 1.8 million followers. Same thing with Brandon Moreno and everyone else. So for me, it was just trying, but also getting the opportunity to try. So for me, going to all these different countries, as long as I speak their language, or even worse is worse, let me type it out, dude. Let me help you. Let's figure this out. Even if it's just mental support, whether it's coaching you, whether it's trying to help physically with money or whatever the case may be. Like, I just want to help, and being able to travel and see all these different places. Like, I'm home maybe 2 months out of the whole year dispersed, so it's like, it's a really cool thing to say, like, man, I'm a kid from the south side of Chicago. My dad was a gang leader, all this stuff. And dude, my dad couldn't even read, now I'm going to Rome, I'm going to Japan, I'm going to Bahrain, I'm going to like places in Bahrain I never even heard of before, so I went to Guyana. I never knew Guyana was a country, so like all these, I fought in Mauritius in Africa, like I thought it was just Madagascar, and then the super small island next to it. So it's a cool experience to go. As long as you try, you never know where the world will take you, and you're a lot better than what you really think you are.
Yeah, man, it was so excited for you to land with RIZIN. How did you become involved with them, and what motivated you to join this top tier promotion?
What's crazy is technically I'm not part of the promotion. So I was supposed to fight after my last fight in May, for Brave. I was like, okay, well, I lost. Let me get back in the winner's circle. Brave, I need a fight. I'm healthy. I feel confident in my ability, and let's do it. They're like, okay, we're gonna get you a fight in August. I immediately started camp again in June, and I was getting ready, and then August lingered closer and closer, and there was no contract. And they're like, I'm sorry, we just couldn't figure it out with the promotion that we expected you to fight for, or the event that they were gonna collab with. So they're like, we're gonna move you to September. I'm like, all right, cool. They had, I think, 4 events in September, all in Europe, but sadly, there was just no spot for them that made sense money wise and publicity wise for me to fight on that card. So I'm like, damn, I'm spending all this money for August, September, all that stuff. Dude, I had to sell my car just to get by. I feel like Patchy Mix or Pitbull or Corey Anderson, where they're like, hey man, put me in, coach, I want to fight. And they're like, we're gonna have you fight in December. I'm like, that's a really long time, but let me just help Lady for his next fight, get him a win. He won, and let's just get back to training from there. Let's move back down to flyweight. And they go December 13th. You'll do a catch weight against the African who was supposed to fight Mohammed Mokaev. And I was like, okay, cool, awesome. I signed the contract, everything's well. Then out of nowhere, out of the blue, Mohammed Mokaev is fighting my opponent. And I'm like, was no one gonna tell me anything? Like, dude, this is my livelihood here. I'm training all stuff. And then they called me and they go, we have a better opportunity for you that we think you would really, really enjoy. You're a big anime fan. All the stuff you loved as a kid growing up is from this one place. Would you like to fight for RIZIN or RIZIN for their 10th anniversary card? It's their biggest event, end of the year type of thing, a decade. Would you like to do it? I'm like, yeah, it's different publicity, different promotion. different fighters. Obviously people I believe know RIZIN a little bit more than Brave right now. So I'm like, yeah, dude, let's do it. I've already accomplished the belt at Brave. Let me go back to a different promotion and have some fun. And then eventually got the opponent. Now I find out I'm on Ryan Garcia's undercard, and yeah, obviously try my best to take full advantage of that when it comes to finding sponsors, publicity, and it's also shown on regular time in the States. I believe it's 8 p.m. Central Time. So I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I don't care if I fight in the morning. I don't care if I do the whole 3 in the morning thing. I just want to fight. And so for me being able to do this, man, it's a blessing in disguise. And the same thing with Lazy. It's like, dude, I get to take Lazy Boy and my coach here, Mike Miguel Gonzalez, over to Japan, to places that we've always wanted to go. So it's again, the sport does crazy things. As long as you keep trying, you never know where you end up.
I heard a rumor that Nobuyuki Sakibara has potentially announced there might be a Flyweight Grand Prix in 2025. Have you heard anything about that? Is that like boiling around?
I heard the rumors as well. I heard the rumors as well. Now, I do know Brave is also trying to do something like that, or at least again, the rumors are, hey, we're trying to really revitalize the flyweight division. We tried to have a flyweight tournament, which I was in before with them. It just never finished. Sadly, the two fighters that were going to fight for the belt, Ali Barutinov, one of them, his son passed away. So he's like, yeah, dude, I'm not going to fight. I'm going to take some time away from the sport. Now he wants to come back, and other fighters want to come back as well. So we'll see what happens. But technically, I'm not signed with RIZIN. It's just a kind of collaborative thing where, remember when RIZIN and Bellator would have those collaborative events? They're like, hey, you know what? Take our fighters. If they win your belt. It has nothing to do with us, So that's why Kyoji became the double champ of Bellator and RIZIN. So for me, I have an opportunity to show myself off in a whole new section of the world. And if it goes well, we'll see where the world takes us next. But right now, it's a one fight thing. I'm actually walking out with a Brave t-shirt, Brave shorts. So I will be a Brave representative fighter. But we'll see where the world takes me next. And hopefully, obviously for the best.
Kudos to Muhammad Shahid and His Highness as well. I mean, that's just really cool to allow them to have you do that, because you know how it is. People get very, very defensive over these contracts, but such an amazing opportunity too for you to grow, because like you said, everything that you do with anime and Japanese MMA fans are just famously loyal. And you mentioned how they follow fighters so closely. I've heard you talk about in the past. How do you plan to leverage that real unique audience loyalty to build your brand and business ventures further?
Oh, like, dude, I got purple hair. Like, this helps. The whole anime-inspired thing. I'll be walking out to a Japanese-inspired song from anime, and it's just a cool thing. So to have His Highness, he helped me a lot since I originally met him in 2015 at Worlds, to be able to give me the opportunity to allow me to go to these different promotions, even though I'm under contract with Brave. They're like, dude, just walk up with the Brave t-shirt. You're good. Like, you're representing us. You're our warrior that we're sitting out there. It's a really, really cool thing, man. And again, like, I love Power Rangers growing up, Dragon Ball Z, all these different anime. I'm actually, after this, I'm gonna run on the treadmill and watch a different anime, So everything is from Japan. Even my girlfriend's like, "You're going to Japan? Can I go?" And I was like, as much as I love that, like, because she loves Pokemon, it's from Japan. So it's a crazy thing to be able to say I get to do this. Plus, some of the first fights I watched weren't the UFC, weren't WEC. My brother used to bring home the bootleg DVDs that somebody would sell that were the Pride fights back in the day. And we would see, Fedor getting slammed, and I don't know, or, finishing a fight being, choking someone out, or Rampage slamming someone, or someone getting soccer kicked. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's brutal. And in the ring, and I'm like, wait, dude, it comes full circle. Like, I get to fight in the same arena, and all technicality, have the ability to do the same exact thing, which I just want to say, Lazy is one of the most brutal guys I've ever had as a coach or a corner, because I sparred today. Sparred last on Tuesday, and every Tuesday, Thursday, all you hear is him say, "Let him up, soccer kick him, or stop him in the head." I was like, "Damn, Lazy!" I was like, "This is a practice partners." He goes, "Just fake it like WWE, but like practice the movement." I was like, and also Kelly, that's what they're gonna try to do to me. So I get to fight the Saitama Arena in Japan, on pay-per-view for the States. Like, I can't ask for anything better. And Ryan Garcia is the main event for my set, because they have 3 different sets. Dude, it's a Latino-based card. You have me, Amado Vargas, you have Ryan Garcia, You had Ryan Garcia's brother, so it's a Latino based event, a lot of Mexicans in the card, so it's even better.
Hey everyone, quick favor to ask. Did you know that nearly 80% of the people tuning in right now aren't subscribed yet? That subscribe button down below is what powers me every week to keep putting out these podcasts. Big shout out and thank you to everyone that's been supporting me for this. I couldn't do it without you. If you're enjoying the content, please subscribe below. It means the world to me. And for everyone supporting me, thank you so much. Now back to the show.
It's just so funny you said that. I was actually at coffee with a guy who used to work with RIZIN, who also works for the UFC now, and his brother still works there. And like, I remember back in the day when I first saw my first prides, and I was like, oh my God, this feels like I'm like watching something like illegal. Like we used to watch it being like, oh, they're like stomping and head kicking and like throwing knees on the ground. But it also kind of just speaks to the way that MMA just continued to rapidly expand globally, particularly obviously everything going on in the Middle East, everything going on in Asia. I'm just curious, what opportunities are you seeing for fighters out there to engage with all these upstart other industries like gaming, crypto, or digital streaming to create these unique partnerships?
I mean, I think a prime example, and it's mainly for small people. Again, big guys are on this side of the world, or even now in the Middle East. But you look at Demetrius Johnson, he's probably the best example of how well he can monopolize and really, flourish in a crowd that actually enjoys him. They enjoy small people because it's more common out there. Like, I'm not called Shorty. I'm just called Jose out there because I'm average height. It's a normal thing. So for me, being able to go out there and looking at what DJ's been able to do, like, I'm going to try my best to take full advantage of every opportunity of promoting myself. I have the purple hair. Obviously, I'm taking Lazy. We're trying to take a film crew in Japan and just have fun. Lazy next to me in general, like, I don't even ask him. He just wants to promote me too. He's like, dude, you need followers. People should know you. Like, and he's like, I wouldn't be here without you or, part of it. So, like, I want to help you too. It's like, no, thank you. I appreciate that. So I want to be able to promote as much as possible, but I'm also on a 2-fight losing streak, given both for the belt and against the same champ who fights this on Friday, tomorrow in Bahrain. But the fact is, like, no matter what, I'm still on a 2-fight losing streak. So I need to come back with a vengeance. I might be the first fight open up this card, but it's a pay-per-view card that gives me the opportunity to have millions, not just in Japan, but on fan meal and people back in the States, or at least on this side of the world watching me. So I have a really good opportunity to now, in a sense, kind of follow, hopefully, Lazy's footsteps of gaining followers, gaining, some feedback, gaining a lot of support, and then possibly growing from there. Maybe, like you said, doing the RIZIN Flyweight Grand Prix, or worse was worse, having a name to go back to Brave and using that publicity as well. So I'm trying to take full advantage. I don't know much about crypto. So that's something I'm a fighter. I get punched in the head for a living. I can't even remember my own, what's in my bank account. So crypto, I can't even follow. But the fact is, man, to be able to go to a place that I've always admired, especially all the things and customs growing up, I want to be able to take full advantage of it. And if, my social media numbers or things come in naturally, awesome. But I'm definitely not going to try to force it. All I got to do is my job, and that's to win a fight. And then from there, hopefully I do in such a highlight or, amazing fashion that people fully support it and I can grow from there.
Well, you've also been a voice of reason in the industry as well. And really just that vocal nature that you've had about the lack of unionization and retirement plans in MMA. I know you guys look into those next steps. Do you see yourself as as that advocate for athlete rights? And do you think the industry can support athletes better in building that financial security post-retirement?
That's the hard part. Like, I'm actually in the process of buying an apartment complex, but then, trying to find out the legal issues and money and this and that. But the fact is, there's nothing for us after the sport. Like, no offense to Chuck Liddell or the original pioneers of the sport, but it's like, without fighting, if the UFC decided not to promote them or help them now, where would they be? A lot of them didn't go to school. A lot of them aren't naturally smart when it comes to book smart. So a lot of us don't have an opportunity. Hell, even some of us in the opportunity. Look at Pantoja, 10 fights in, was still working for Uber. Look at Ali Quinta. He's like, dude, I got to be a realtor. I actually make more money off of selling houses than I do fighting. So it's still a growing process and it's getting better and better, but it's baby steps. That's the hard part. I believe that's also one of the reasons why I was cut from the UFC. I spoke out and said the UFC will cut us, and I just so happened to be right. Sadly, I got punished for it a little bit. So the fact is, and obviously I'm still working my way back up, if you want to say. So the fact is, sadly, there's no union. I don't think there'll ever be, just because there's so many different promotions, there's so many different regions, obviously so many different fighters, and anything can happen with the sport. But I do believe that we need to get paid more. And I do believe, especially because we put our life on the line, all the lacerations and head trauma and all the stuff, that we have long-term effects. Hell, TJ Dillashaw can't even do this, because he can't lift his shoulders. So the fact is, we need to find something in the meantime to keep us productive. For me, I have my foundation. For me, I'm trying to buy houses. For me, I'm trying to invest in different businesses and other people in my neighborhood and help them out. But it's also that Big Brother program where I've learned the foundation from Manny Pacquiao and Dustin Poirier. I've learned maybe buying houses is a good thing from, Ally Quinta. Looking at them as examples is a big thing, and not just for the people in my foundation, but for myself. I want to be a big brother, and I want to be that hopeful, pioneer, not just in the amateur realm as I am, but overall saying, man, you need to invest in yourself, and that's different things. Not just to take care of yourself, but after this career is over, dude, I can walk outside and get hit by a car, and then they tell me I can't fight Japan or ever fight again. So the fact is, we don't get paid to train. We only get paid to fight. I've had fights cancel on me the week of, and I'm like, I don't get paid. I did all this stuff. I spent all this time. So it's a process that people need to understand, and hopefully in that process, we do get paid more. And we'll see what happens next. But it's whatever I can do, I'm trying to do. But I'm also not trying to get stepped on as I was before. So I'm definitely always still speaking up, and I'm trying to figure it out in the process like everyone else.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate that. And, I also just always appreciate the positivity out there. I love your content. I love following you. I feel like I'm playing every week. I'm playing like, where in the world is Shorty Torres? It's like, I'm like, he's here in Vegas. Oh, he's back in Chicago. He's out in Mexico City. He's out in Bahrain. It's like trying to keep up with you is a full-time job.
Dude, that's something I told my girlfriend. I was like, I don't know if you want to be with me. She goes, why? I was like, because I'm everywhere. Like, I don't, like, for example, this is right now my tentative, given it always changes, is Mexico City for longer than I expected, but now a full 3 months. Japan for a full week. Then I'll be in Chicago for the most part for the month of January. Then I'm supposed to come back here to Mexico City for 2 months, but in that 2 months, I have to go to Norway for a military trip for 1 week, and then be here back for Lazy's fight. After Lazy's fight, I'm going to, I think, Poland for another military trip. In that process, I should already have a fight planned and scheduled that I might be somewhere else in the world. So you never know, but that's why I say enjoy today, enjoy the people, enjoy the moments, because you never know when you're going to have those or when they're gone. And, man, just enjoy the process. And that's why I'm trying to, like you said, be as positive as I possibly can be, even when things don't look the brightest in the day.
Well, man, if you had told me, I don't know, any time in the recent past that I'd be paying for a pay-per-view for someone other than the UFC, never mind on New Year's Eve, I would have told you were crazy. But this is definitely one that I'm going to be tuning into. I know where I'm going to be glued on New Year's Eve this year, man, and wishing you a safe and successful rest of camp, a safe cut, and can't wait to see you back out there. And just before we get going, tell everyone where they can follow you, and if they want to get in contact with you, whether it's sponsor you or just shoot the shit, what's the best way to do that?
I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much for all the support as always. And I always can't wait to be on these. You do a great job. Seriously. You make the process so much easier. So thank you. But for me, I think the easiest way, man, is just Jose Shorty Torres on Instagram, and I do mental health posts every single weekday. And then Sunday, I do kind of like a Sunday question day. Ask me anything, personal, private, I don't care. For me, I just want to be open and vulnerable and just be a real person. Because I have a blue check mark doesn't mean I'm better than you. Because I've been over here doesn't mean I know more than you or this and that. Like, it's a process. We're all the same. We bleed the same. I'm just a lot shorter with purple hair. So for me, if people want to get in direct contact with me, Instagram, like I believe that's how we got into contact. Instagram, all you got to do, my email's on there. My website is on there. All my YouTube, social media platforms are on there. Message me, comment, do whatever the case may be. But I appreciate love and support, and I can't do this without people. So that's why I always say we can move well together. We're a Team Shorty. I appreciate love and support, man. Thank you.
Yeah, likewise, man. We'll have a safe trip out there, and we can't wait to see you come victorious on New Year's Day.